Siemanko, witam wszystkich bardzo serdecznie na streamie. Dzisiaj zaczynamy już 6. odcinek gry Vampyr. Zapraszam do oglądania. Rozsiądźcie się wygodnie w swoich fotelach, w swoich tapczanach, czy na czym tam siedzicie. Usiądźcie sobie wygodnie i lecimy kolejny odcinek. Muzyka jest naprawdę fenomenalna w tej grze. Cały czas po prostu gdzieś tak przyprawiamy delikatnie od dreszcze. No to gramy, moi drodzy. Na czym tam skończyć? Mam 9. poziom, prawie 2000 punktów doświadczenia. Ja już w sumie nie pamiętam, na czym my skończyliśmy, ale chyba odkrywaliśmy sobie wszystkie postacie. Cóż to jest? Misje Doki. Archer Woodbeat. Sukces, ok. Tu też jest jakieś oko okultyzmu, to może być coś ciekawego. Tu odkryliśmy wszystkie misje tak naprawdę, wszystkie te śledztwa zrobiliśmy bardzo ładnie, odkryliśmy większość wskazówek. Tutaj pan Korkoran Tipec jeszcze jedną ma wskazówkę. Oswald potrzebuje czegoś na ból głowy. Milton Hawks wszystko. Pan doktor Akiord ma dwie opcje do odgadnięcia. Tutaj Strickland ma jedną, więc będzie całkiem sporo, nie? Jeszcze do robienia. A tych gości po prostu wypytać, pogadać z nimi. Tutaj są doki, akurat trochę osób odkryłem, ale tam jeszcze wracać. Na razie bym się zajął tutaj tymi naszymi bohaterami całej zabawy. Raz tylko z tym gościem rozmawiałem, naprawdę, z doktorem Swansea. I to wszystko. Z Stricklandem byśmy mogli jeszcze pogadać i z Akiordem, bo oni tutaj mają... I tutaj jeszcze mam tu masę Elwooda. Ja chyba znalazłem jakąś notatkę dotyczącą jego zdrowia. A w jakim miejscu ja jestem w ogóle? A, tu jest szpital, ok. Ja wracam ze szpitala, bo tam właśnie rozwiązałem jakąś misję, pamiętam. Za tym śmigejszym. Jest pan Strickland, pogadajmy z nim chwilę.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland. And good evening to you, Dr. Reed. Can I be of any help?
O, nic nie mamy, jeszcze dwie wskazówki są potrzebne.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Ja myślę, że możemy pogadać jeszcze z tym głównym takim doktorem. Filarem społeczności tak zwanym. Z nim rozmawiałem? Rozmawiałem wczoraj z nim, ale zobaczmy.
Good evening.
No jak zawsze.
Do you require my...
I have no need for your...
No nie, tu już nic nie ma.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Aha, bo my mamy już wszystkie opcje, tylko jeszcze potrzebujemy tego jegomościa. Ale stał.
Good evening,
Evening, Doctor.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
I'm fine. Just do something for this pain, will you? That's all I'm asking.
O,
Why do you feel responsible for the injury, Thomas? What really happened?
I wasn't disfigured by any German shells. It happened during my leave. It was an accident.
Why lie about it?
Come on. It's one thing to come back disfigured by the Germans, and it's another to get injured in an accident that could have happened to
no
anybody.
to prawda, nie?
Reconstructive surgery has been very successful for some soldiers.
I don't want to wear a bloody mask for the rest of my life. I'd rather stay here and just be forgotten.
Oh no! Marnowałem wskazówkę.
Tell me what really happened then.
I went with a whore in Rouen. Dead drunk I was. The hotel was a shithole. There was a fire that night.
Did you start the fire? Were you trying to avoid going back to the front? That's not uncommon, you know.
No. It's just that I was asleep when the flames reached the room. The girl was long gone. Bitch never woke me up. Left me to burn.
No. A, mogę hipnotyzować. To zrobiłem to przez przypadek. Nie no, wolni go. Jeszcze nie chcę go zżerać.
I wish I could be sick again. Feel my blood boil with fever.
Ale potem go i tak zeżrę. Jest pani Hawkins. Hawkins praktycznie chyba ma wszystko z niej ukryte. Nie mam pewności, jeszcze kurczę, muszę zajrzeć sobie tutaj. Pani Hawkins tutaj jest. O nie, mam dwie wskazówki. Go odkryłem, dobra, pogadam z nią chwilę.
Good
To ma
evening,
sporo
Nurse
na
Hawkins.
sumieniu.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Milton cheats patients out of their money at this hospital, Pippa. Are you his accomplice?
Yes, I am.
To
Is
imię.
this your definition of being useful? By abusing the sick and poor?
No. It is my definition of getting out of this useless life once and for all.
Whose idea was it?
What difference does it make? We did it together, and I'm guilty as charged.
Answer my question.
It was my idea first, even though Milton would say it was his, to protect me.
Why do you do it?
Why not? Most of the sick who paid for a bed are already dead, or will be soon. Don't you see the futility of all this?
How can you be affected by the misery around you, and be so heartless at the same time? Which is the real you, Nurse Hawkins?
I could ask you the same question, Dr. Reed. Are you more real when you lie to a dying patient, or when you grant him useless medication?
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Simpletons, these nurses. Bred with
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
liars and thieves, every last one of them.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
I'm in pain.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
All liars and
Hawcroft?
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton.
these nurses.
Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Przepraszam za to.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the dockers' trade union. The wet boot boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Dooth Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint. Not even criminals.
Need my medication.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
Simpletons, these nurses.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Someone's poached my rank.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
Liars and thieves, every last one of them.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
I'm in pain. I need my medication.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton?
Simpletons.
A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
No jasne.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really. But I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
Simpletons, these nurses. Bred with no respect.
Kurczę, myślę, że mogę go
Goodbye,
uleczyć.
Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Someone's poached
Yes,
my
my
rank.
friend.
Oh, the cold will be.
Jak to u niego wygląda? Nie mam tego księdza tutaj.
I wish I could be fit.
The day.
Pan doktor jest chyba na samej górze, tak mi się wydaje. Tu jest Aykroyd.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Do you think Dr. Strickland has any chance of curing the Spanish flu by himself?
His wish to cure the sick is not driven by pride, but by an idealistic view about our mission here. Honestly, I don't know which is worse.
You consider him a good practitioner, yet you will not report his methods.
Strickland may be a rival, but I will not use dirty tricks or regulations to prove him wrong. We are
No, uczciwe z
doctors,
jego
not
strony.
politicians.
Słusznie, słusznie.
Do you need my assistance?
Not at all. I'm sure that you are used to gaining people's trust.
Jedna wskazówka mi została.
Thank you for your
To
time.
porozmawiać z tym filarem.
I will not let you down, my
Właśnie, chyba dla niej misję zrobiłem, nie? Do tej wampirzycy.
That was fast.
I'm afraid the trail of breadcrumbs leads beyond the hospital.
Is that so?
Now it's time for you to be patient. It would seem that your blackmailer is part of a more complex machination whose root is in Whitechapel.
Machination? Do you suspect another immortal is involved?
I hadn't considered that eventuality.
Do be careful, my good doctor. When immortals are involved, the stakes tend to escalate quickly.
I'll return with case solved or carried on my shield.
Ja niby mogę ewoluować, ale trochę... Troszkę jeszcze nie chcę. A wiem co zrobię. Ulepszę sobie broń. W gabinecie, a potem pójdę do tego gościa. Witaj Zdeczydiowski. Siemandero. Wiesz co, dzisiaj chyba nie bardzo, wiesz, bo ja też późno pewnie skończę Vampyra, a dzisiaj wolę chyba solo pograć, ale zobaczymy jeszcze, dobra? Dogadamy się do tego. Kleję już ten stół, o którym mnie ostatnio pytałeś na dole stronki. Możesz sobie go przejrzeć, ten co z Ikei kupiłem. No dobra. Te bronie, o te bronie mi chodziło. Kurczę. Fragment zwyczajnego uchwytu, mam tylko 2-3 ołowiane płytki. No dobra, spróbujemy kupić gdzieś jeszcze te kwestie. Aha, jeszcze jedno. Co chciałem jeszcze? Łagodna dawka surowicy. $150 punktów, ok, to sobie jeszcze zrobimy jeszcze. A tutaj? Masę rzeczy mam. Ja czy nie potrzebuję? Potrzebuję środek na ból głowy, tylko nie mogę znaleźć, kurczę, tych schematów. A to co jest w środku? Co się stało? Wlazł do szafy i co, jak w Narni? Ach, przebrał się. Kyrie Elejson, po prostu się tak wystraszyłem, że coś się stało. Jakaś narnia tam się odnalazła. Wolę go z tym kapeluszem jednak. No to musi być tak długie wczytywanie? Kurczę. No jest kapelusik. Nie ma to tamto. Dobra, to idziemy pogadać z tym szalonym doktorkiem. A coś jest? To w ogóle pochodzić po tych pokojach, po tym szpitalu, bo może tu gdzieś znajdę ten schemat. Tamte dwa znalazłem. Oni tutaj nie mieli, z tego co pamiętam, to jest wszystko pozamykane. Kurczę.
It's locked, all right.
Alright. Nic z tego. Dobra. Tutaj coś ewentualnie? No tam już wszystko zebrałem, co trzeba było. Nope. Wejść nie da. Swansea. O, gdzieś Polas. A jest pan Swansea. Może on coś ma? O, to Rakesha Chadane, dobra. Rypnąłem sobie list. List z ostrzeżeniem. Trochę dużo tego zabrałem. Rzadkie gatunki wampirów. Przedmioty do zbierania, kompendium wiedzy. To ciekawe, gatunki, słabości, stróże Priven, bractwo Stuły Świętego Pawła. O no. I to tak jakby dodatkowe jakieś notatki się zbierało. Coś w tym stylu. Ja coś tam znalazłem jeszcze, coś fajnego. O. Pembroke i tu jest ten list. No, spoksik. To jest ten liścik. Teraz list z ostrzeżeniem. No cóż. Konfident szaleje. Okej, przeczytaliśmy te wszystkie notatki. Mamy wskazówki. I ogólnie mamy już bardzo dużo tych wskazówek odnośnie tych lekarzy. Tu mamy już wszystkie 3. Od razu Ackroyd też wszedł. Tipens też chyba nie. Tipens jeszcze jedna ma wskazówkę, to muszę z nim pogadać pewnie o tym. Jedna mi odpadła niestety. Siostra Hawkins ma jeszcze 2 wskazówki cały czas. Tu mi odpadła, niestety źle zagadałem. Trudno się zdarza, nie? A muszę z nim pogadać jeszcze, bo ja z nim w ogóle to mam taką sytuację, że tutaj kurczę z filarem, czyli Swansea, mam 0 żadnych wskazówek, nie? On ma wskazówki 3, więc...
Do
Nie,
you
teraz
need
wszystko
something,
odpadnie.
Jonathan?
I have just.
Then ask away.
You mentioned something about a secret society.
Certainly. I've been a member of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole for several years. We are pledged to monitor and report vampire activity in England as impartial scientific observers.
I ci łowcy mieli rację.
That explains your nightly wanderings about the docks and the questions you ask.
I feel it wasn't mere coincidence that led us to that part of town. There was something as yet unseen that set those chain of events in motion.
Yet you don't fear me. And still, you know the monster that lurks beneath the civilized surface.
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries. We believe you are as supernatural as a lion is to a gazelle.
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires, what could you tell me about my condition and how it came about?
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings, and the penny dreadfuls. They do not scratch the surface of the truth you now find yourself in.
Must I take a life to live?
You are a vampire. You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can sustain your immortal frame. And only a living creature contains the nourishment you require.
The sun. The morning following my transformation. Its rays burned me. There was pain, smoke, and my skin blackened.
You will find there is very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been offered relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you, leaving you weakened and damaged, but it will not destroy you.
Wszystko jasne.
Since I'm the one working for you, what should I know about Pembroke Hospital?
Well, for many years, we have been the only medical facility in this part of town that people can rely on. We support the community here, as well as provide health care.
Where do we stand today? Where do we stand today?
Oh, to be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis. The first wave of the Spanish flu last summer took us...
What do you expect of me?
What we need is hope. You were a soldier. This is a war. This white coat's still a uniform. We fight to help the poor, the sick of the East End, the forgotten.
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory, William Bishop, I believe, was he a vampire?
He was a Skald, technically speaking. The debate rages as to their classification. Some think them a subspecies of vampire, others something else.
Ci, którzy tracą panowanie, stracili panowanie tak naprawdę nad sobą.
How do Skulls come into existence?
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know, vampires tend to despise them.
Just for clarity, what differences are there between myself and a Skull?
A Skull is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable foes for the unprepared. Vampires... Now, vampires exist beyond the mortal realm.
I have met Lady...
She's a fascinating woman.
Is she the true reason you recruited me? To work on her condition and addiction for blood? A part of me is thinking I've been played.
Lady Ashbury is a cherished friend of mine. I would not betray her secrets without her consent. Come to the rescue of a damsel in distress. I ask nothing more.
Niech mu będzie, nie?
The matter of Lady Ashbury's blackmailer.
Oh, I know too much about this matter already. I'm confident in trusting the interests and reputation of both the hospital and Our Lady into your able hands.
We'll see each other again soon, Edgar.
Pytałem go, ale niestety przepisu na te shity nie znalazłem, nie? Dalej nie mam leku na ból głowy. A, miałem jeszcze pochodzić tam.
It's locked, all right.
Jeszcze piętro. Drugie. Byłem z tamtej strony. Niestety chyba są zablokowane po prostu piętro. Dobra, słuchajcie, mam 2145 punktów doświadczenia. Po prostu się położę. Coś sobie dorzucimy, nie? Zrobimy misję główną. Mhm. Dwa tysiące aż, wow. Muszę sobie wziąć sprawność fizyczną. Na co się spóźniłeś, Literek? Witam serdecznie. Nie ma problemu, jak się spóźniłeś, zawsze możesz sobie dokończyć ten początek na YouTubie. O, coś mi tu weszło. Mhm. Spoko, spoko. Nic się nie spóźniłeś, wszystko ok. Lecimy sobie z koksem spokojnie. 230. A to jest wściekłość, tak? Krwawy kocioł. Chyba to jest najlepsze, nie? Na chwilę obecną. I to nawet chyba takie nie jest drogie, nie? 1000 kosztuje. Ale może jeszcze się z tym wstrzymam. Jeszcze zrobię kilka misji i dopiero wtedy sobie zacznę korzystać z tych. Taktykę wolałem jeszcze... Odskoku nie potrzebuję teoretycznie. Wolałem sobie zrobić tak opcję. Wydajność krwi przede wszystkim. Okej. A, już jest 1000. No dobra, trudno się mówi. Ugryzienie właśnie nie chcę na razie modyfikować, bo to jest w sumie trochę słabe, bo to ugryzienie za bardzo też nie wychodzi podczas walki, tak szczerze mówiąc. Ciężko jest, bo trzeba zawsze kogoś powalić, żeby go ugryźć, nie? Zostało mi 600 punktów, nie wiem czy sobie ich nie zostawić po prostu. A autofagiem mógł zwiększyć. A, 1300, no tak. Zapomniałem o tym w ogóle. Ale sobie to zostawię. Jeszcze coś jest... A, 600 mam. Zdrowie... No cóż, to zwiększymy sobie wydajność krwi. Będzie spoko. I to wystarczy. Można się kimnąć. No ugryzienie jest po prostu bardzo trudne, nie? Żeby kogoś powalić tam, użreć, to jest trochę bez sensu. A lepiej sobie zrobić absorpcję w mieczu, tak jak ja zrobiłem. U mnie chyba jest coraz lepiej z tą dzielnicą, tak mi się wydaje. Uleczyłem go. Muszę tego jeszcze uleczyć, ale niestety nie mogę znaleźć odpowiednich planów, żeby stworzyć, kurczę, przeciwbólowy lek. Tego chcę jeszcze ogarnąć, Tipensa. Bo mi brakuje cały czas wskazówki. Tego zaraz ogarnę. Dobra. Muzyka jest kozacka w tej gierce, zdecydowanie. Jestem jeszcze potężniejszy, mam 11 poziom, teraz powinienem wymiatać. Swansea i tam szkit z tym. Pójdziemy sobie do tego doktorka. Jak mam z tą Pipą jeszcze rozmawiać, no? Tu są oni, tak? Dobra.
Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
No nie wiem. No i mam zablokowane cały czas te wskazówki skubane, no. O.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No. We must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once more unto the breach.
Nurse Brannigan is worried about you, Doctor.
She should not have told you that. I will have a word with her.
You don't have to blame her for her honesty.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse Brannigan's opinion is the only one I may listen to.
Nie zablokowało mi to. Wskazówki, to jest
Nurse
dobrze.
Brannigan has been recently accused of neglecting her professional duties. Tell me what you really think about it.
This kind of protest is nothing but elitist bullshit. I trust Nurse Brannigan with my life. She has what it takes to be a great doctor.
Do you really think she could be the next Elizabeth Blackwell?
Believe me, Dr. Reed, a time will come when skill and skill alone will determine who can be a physician and who cannot.
Okidoki. Tak, słyszałem, że The Walking Dead wychodzi nowa gierka. Osobiście czekam na wydanie wszystkich, że tak powiem, części, żebym mógł sobie je kupić od razu. To wszystko.
Goodbye, Doc.
Nie wiem, ten gość jest dla mnie, kurczę, dalej chodzącą tajemnicą, nie? Monsieur Pence. No, pogadajmy jeszcze chwilę z nią.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Nic nie ma. No potrzebuję wskazówki.
Goodbye, nurse.
No pochodzę po tych, kurczę, namiotach, może coś tu znajdę ciekawego. Że tutaj coś? Coś. O, tam jest śmietnik. Dobra, i tu już nic nie ma. Jest jeszcze to. Inina się przyda. Jest dobrze. Mam sporo ciekawych rzeczy. Spoko. Chociaż szczerze mówiąc, w obecnej sytuacji, no nie polecam tego krzesełka, które mam. Znaczy, sugerował się innymi krzesełkami. Już po prostu ja je kupowałem dawno temu. I cóż, no już się troszkę dezaktualizowało. Raczej mi próbował, sugerował mi inne krzesełka. Zwłaszcza takie, które mają tutaj podłokietniki nie obite ze skóry, tylko mają takie jakby regulowane oddzielnie, nie? To jest dość istotne. A, szpital przypomniałem, tak, to widziałem. Okej. Dotknę całego. A, biurko. No spoko, nie ma problemu. No jak ci tam wspominałeś mi wczoraj, więc mówiłem, że tam wkleję to, nie? No, to fajnie jest ten stół, naprawdę, a jeszcze jest elektryczny też właśnie w Ikei, ale elektryczny mi akurat nie był potrzebny. No jest bardzo drogi, to chyba kosztuje 2800. Więc to jest za dużo jak na stół. Także ręczne opuszczanie i podwyższanie tego stołu jest naprawdę wystarczy, moim zdaniem. Dobra. A, żebyś szły na pielęgniarki, tak, to znam. Kurczę, no nic, trzeba robić misję główną. Nie będziemy tutaj siedzieć bezczynnie. I się opintalać. Aha, chciałem jeszcze z Hamiltonem pogadać chwilę, bo on ma dość sporo fajnych rzeczy.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Może coś mi powie jeszcze o tej. No właśnie.
Admit it. Nurse Hawkins is more than your lover. She's also your partner in crime.
Of course she is. How else could I tell which bed is free? I need to know that.
Have you no shame?
Don't you see the city is crumbling down? Today people are ready to pay to get a hospital bed. Tomorrow, we may be fighting for food.
Bez przesady, aż tak źle nie
Do you
jest.
need any medical help, Milton?
I'm fine, Doc. Physically, at least. But I would give everything to be in a better place right now.
Tell me why you're extorting money from some of the patients here.
If a patient wants a bed, he'll have to pay me a little fee. That's all.
Where did you get the idea for such an immoral scam?
Funny you should ask. The first time it was from a patient who bribed me to get a bed. It's only then I realized I could make a fortune.
No tak to się zaczyna, nie?
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Dr. Reed.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do?
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys sold to all manner of perverts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. So excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
No to
I'd
wszystko.
like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Ma jeden fragment. To wszystko. Właśnie, ja mam jakiś ostatni, znalazłem jakiś kołek tych... Używany kołek, okej. Okej. Przemykanie. Co to? Weź tutaj. A ja mam ten używany kołek, tak? Który mi daje 10 ogłuszenie, to jest 15 ogłuszeń. 10, więc wolę ten przede wszystkim. No dobra. No to idziemy za misją główną. A już się odpalił. Status dzielnicy poważny. Dobrze, pójdziemy po niego. Kurczę. Nie jest tak łatwo. Niezłe. Obiecujący rekrut, jakieś nowe śledztwo mi się tutaj wpadło. Spoko, na chillu tego gościa złapaliśmy, nie? 17 poziom miał, ale już teraz spoko. Duża stamina to już powoduje jednak, że jestem potężnym wampirem, kurczę. Weź gościu. To słabi są, co? Ulala. O, jeszcze żył, skubany. Wyleczymy się do końca, jest gicior. No teraz to już na luzie, nie? Się walczy. Drugi padł. Aha, czyli sporo rzeczy dostałem. No dobra. Chciałem się wrócić na główną dróżkę. Właśnie tutaj. Musimy mieć ten tutaj dojść, musimy. Powinien się zakraść do niego. Dawaj krew. Na chillu. A, stamina mi się skończyła. Zapominał mi trochę. Dostał? Kurczę. Uciekł mi. To jest zwinny gościu był. Okej. To były rzeczy, które mieli. No nie chcę nic mówić, ale teraz trochę wymiatam, nie? Co za miejscowa? O, dobra. Wrażające zdjęcia. Co za muza? Widać tam jak zakrwawione łóżko. Hajsy. Krzyż. To nie będzie jedna z misji, tylko na razie jej nie odblokowałem. O, śmietnik. Dobra, ja tutaj łażę bez celu, tam nic nie było. Wejdziemy dalej do głównego wątku, moi drodzy. Chyba jeszcze ogarniemy, czy coś tutaj czasem nie leżą jakieś fajne rzeczy, bo próbuję sobie i tak ulepszyć tą moją broń. A tam co jest? A, to jest ta moja kryjówka. Pamiętam już teraz. No to wiemy. O, kogo my tu mamy, moi drodzy?
I can't believe I'm doing this.
When did you join the guard? 2 days ago. This is my first patrol.
Sporo ich tutaj jest, moi drodzy. Co powiecie na to?
It's one of them! Over there! Over there! There's one of them!
A, nie zdążyłem uniknąć. Łatwo z nich wyssać krew. Na górze są jeszcze goście. Ale oni tu nie idą, więc spoko. Misja mamy w tamtą stronę, ale to jest tak przyjemnie, nie? Znaczy przyjemnie, tak mrocznie, tak mi się podoba. Ten zaułek taki fajny. Old Road. A to na razie sobie zostawimy. Ale dzielnica fajna.
Best stay back, sir. Die, vermin! Die, vermin!
Uuu. Co on robi? No to się bardzo mocno, że tak powiem, zepsuło w tej gierce. Takie błędy są wręcz niewybaczalne. Aj, zauważył mnie. Dobra. Chodź, chodź. O. Jednak. W końcu musiał mi się poddać. Au. No problem.
Przepraszam, mogłoby być problem.
No proszę bardzo. Widzisz, moje teksty są znane nawet w filmach.
Nie no, ty odpowiedziałeś, to problem.
Proszę?
Ty odpowiedziałeś.
Aha, rozumiem. A, czajesz teraz.
Jarał, tak?
Wiem już co.
Powiedziałeś, no problem.
Wiem, to spoko. To ładnie się zgrało. Już myślałem, że moje teksty są takie słabe. To będzie kryjówka. Oh no. Nie mam klucza.
I cannot enter.
Ktoś musi dać jakieś klucze do tego miejsca. Ale spoko, jesteśmy blisko już tej miejscówki, do której zmierzam. No, ogólnie to był chyba boss ten jeden, co miał 12 poziom, więc tak mi się wydaje.
Whitechapel. This neighborhood is linked somehow to the kind Lady Ashbury's blackmail. First, let's find this Petrescu fellow.
Chory. To jest ta kryjówka?
Fuck you all! Fuck it all! Stop it now, Albert, stop it! I won't end up another drunk arsehole there in the streets. Not me.
Are you all right?
The bastard hit the wall next to me. I don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help you. I'm a doctor.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bugger off.
Goodbye, young man.
Me? I'll not die in some piss-stinking alley reeking worse than a week-old lavvy.
Jesus Christ. Ludzie w ogóle chorzy leżą gdzieś kurczę po ulicach. Dostał strzał w głowę. Masakra. Ten następny leży. Martwy. To są takie szokujące obrazki.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. I must insist, sir. Please let me see Nurse Crane.
I have no time for you, sir.
Jest ten gościu. O la la.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be from Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nithercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
Ciekawe.
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Even the clue is no match for the Swanborough accordion.
What? Shooting a boy in the middle of the street. Not the best thing to do, wouldn't you say?
What? You saw what happened? Who are you?
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you promise me to set your gun aside.
No.
Look, I'm not a violent man. I'm Benjamin Palmer, doctor. And no one can help me. Not even you.
I have found a very interesting letter. Your son planned to prove his worth to the gang by stealing your medicine.
Oh, I see. So the little bugger thought he could use his dad to build a reputation.
The gang's recruiter was dead when I found him. Perhaps you should take better care of your son.
I love my Albert, sir. Believe me. It's just... well, I'm an arsehole, I suppose. Anyway, thanks for the letter. This is for your trouble.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Have you heard anything?
It's funny, I've been searching for her too. I need some pills. But the woman is a phantom, if you ask me.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for migrants.
What can you tell me about this place?
Nothing to say, really. This is where I used to live, and this is where I live now.
You mean you used to have a better life?
Yeah, I had a wife, a home, and a job. I even used to have a name. And now I'm just Ben. Ben the Trap.
You don't have anywhere to go? No family that would welcome you?
Not since the death of my wife, Albert's mother. She was sick, you see. Long before the flu and all this shit.
Ciekawe, ciekawe.
Perhaps you could focus for a moment and tell me your troubles.
I'm sick, broke, and my son just stole my pills. Everything's coming up roses.
Whatever the boy did, I'm sure he didn't deserve a public execution.
I swear I didn't want to hit him. It's just that I'm sick in the head, you see, and the boy he just frayed me last nerve.
You don't seem well, Benjamin. Do you need any help?
I always feel ill, sir. It's like I'm never right.
I will see you later. A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper.
Migrena. Dalej nie mam nic na ból głowy. Jakaś średniała dzielnica, że tak powiem. Te śmietniki są jakieś tam rzeczy, ale... Kogo więcej tutaj nie ma? To jest zamknięte. Niestety, mało jest drzwi, w które tu można wejść. Nie ma tu żadnego pubu? Są dwa szczury.
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
Może jakieś osobiste pytanko? Nie, albo blokowane wszystko.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're...
To jest chyba to. No dobra, czyli mamy tak zwaną zielarkę. O.
It's locked, all right.
Oh no. Kurczę, trzeba podkrywać jakieś misje, żeby w ogóle tu wejść. Znalazłem jakiegoś gościa. Nawet dwóch chyba.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
Can I offer you my medical expertise, Mr. Peterson?
The name is Colossus Joe. I don't get sick.
Twardzie z niego prawdziwe.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Może być ten poeta.
Welcome, sir. Please, take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
How is business around here?
Business? I had no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
No proszę bardzo.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
Well, you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Misiu? A, dobrze. Tutaj nic tu nie mamy.
Have you heard of a nurse
Dobre,
called
tak.
Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane?
Podoba mi się bardzo.
So the bitch really is a nurse, then?
So she's trying to help her fellow immigrants. Why would that make her a villain?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Ciężka sprawa tutaj z tą misją jest. Zobaczmy, co ma do sprzedaży.
Show me what you have.
O! Okej. Porządnego uchwytu. Też będzie potrzebne pewnie, ale to jest mi potrzeba 6. Spoko, coś tam znalazłem, to już jest plus. To jest ten gość. Bezwstydny. O, jakiś ksiądz.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences. And most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
O, widzę, że kolega ma ciągotki jeszcze z czasów, kurczę, Inkwizycji.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad.
Ten gość jest niebezpieczny bardzo.
You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition. Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
Ooh.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in her country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart.
Może to nowoczesny ksiądz, faktycznie masz syna.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
What do you mean?
All's
quite a job.
You.
Well,
as a
what do you mean?
The beast.
I have heard.
No, no. Ksiądz będzie miał dużo tego. Mamy naszego dziennikarza.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
I served in France. Our top priority must be to put an end to this butchery. This war must stop now.
Sir, streets are a battlefield too. An invisible and untold war is going on, and it must be stopped.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
That science is unable to explain the facts doesn't mean there is no rational explanation.
I confess, I share your point of view, Doctor.
Mhm. Ekstra. Okej. Super. Dzielnica, kochanie? Tak. No dobra. Zapytajmy coś jeszcze.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
No, mamy wskazóweczkę, dobrze.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm a doctor, Mr. Darby. I care about everything involving public health and this epidemic.
Are you sure you're not just concerned about the repercussions that a scandal involving a certain Nurse Crane from the Pembroke Hospital would bring?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He has no relatives at all?
No. Except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
I coś tu nie gra.
Do you need assistance?
That would be nice of you, Doctor. Who knows what I may have caught during my investigation.
I will see you later. Goodbye, Mr.
Ja tu mogę dostać jeszcze kryjówkę. To jest kościół. Ale to z tej strony się nie wchodzi, z drugiej podejrzewam. O.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly. I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it? You don't seem to need my medical attention for now. Melia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary.
Bez niemową po prostu.
A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever. Very well.
Przejdę do jakiejś innej dzielnicy, więc na razie sobie odpuszczę to miejsce. O matko, ile ma punktów doświadczenia.
I cannot enter.
To jest ten akolita pewnie. O.
The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter.
Aha, czyli Petrescu już mamy, złapaliśmy go. Chciałbym znaleźć tego poetę, ale to muszę chyba naokoło przejść tędy. Zaraz, to nie tutaj. Tutaj, tak? Znaleźć Richarda Mittercotta. Do końca nie wiem, gdzie on jest. Z tą jeszcze chwilę pogadam?
Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling.
Pochodzi chyba z Rosji.
But I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick. Though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed, or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight somewhere else.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry? Or about poverty? Or anything else you have never suffered from?
No i tyle w temacie.
Are you talking from experience?
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy houses in the West End.
No dobra.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crăciunescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Polacy grają. Jakieś osobiste pytanko?
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your
Wyższe
work.
sfery.
I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
I always thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly. But it is not your concern, Doctor.
No i tyle, nie?
Do you need any assistance, Miss Popper?
It depends on the price of your medicine.
I will see you later.
Znaleźć jakąś kryjówkę, wejść do niej i po prostu wytworzyć jakieś lekarstwo, moim zdaniem. Ten gada sam do siebie. Można i tak. O matko. No i już. Po krzyku, moi drodzy. Szybko, sprawniej na temat. Ciekawe, czy wampir może się zarazić taką hiszpanką. Cmentarz, piękny. No i to jest ten akolita, podejrzewam.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet.
Oh.
Richard Nethercott, at your service.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the added hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir, Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much, and that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Camellia.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
Did you know the mute florist is a member of a secret society?
No, I didn't. But I thank you for this information, sir. For it only enriches the mystery surrounding the precious
Myślałem, nie? Czy bardziej go to kręci?
Are you not curious? Is there not more you wish to know?
That girl has not an ounce of malice in her. Whatever she may be hiding, it's certain to be for the benefit of most, if not all.
I fear you are a hopeless romantic, Mr. Nethercott.
Guilty as charged, Dr. Reed.
Do you need medical attention, sir?
It may be wise to let you prescribe me something. I don't feel like I should.
Na przeziębienie,
I will see you. May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Muszę chyba sobie zmienić troszeczkę, za mało jestem rozświetlony. O, tak mogę to określić sobie. Chyba lepiej. Pewnie widać.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have a unique perspective on the situation, I must admit.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you, for a start, my dear doctor.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
Do szpitałem.
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
To wszystko tajemniczy proces dla niego.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
Mają kosę. Okej, to wszystko wiem.
I'll leave you
O
alone.
tym jegomościu.
Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
Okej, moi drodzy. Na tym etapie zakończymy naszą grę. Dziękuję wam uprzejmie za dzisiejszy odcinek, za stream. Także zapraszam, następny odcinek pojawi się w najbliższym czasie. Gram właściwie tą gierkę, kiedy tylko mam taką możliwość, bo bardzo mi się podoba. Także do zobaczonka, do następnego streamu i do następnego odcinka na YouTubie. To już będzie 7 następnym razem, teraz był 6, także dzięki bardzo. Do zobaczenia następnym razem. Siemadera.